All right, everyone, it's tech news time with Facebook. Its stock has lost an incredible amount of value since the beginning of last year. This is the same with Twitter and some of these other companies. Apple, certainly, apparently something like $400 billion in value was wiped away with regards to Apple, and now their new strategy is begging people to upgrade. Because you know how Apple works is you buy their proprietary software and they want basically to keep you in a contract forever. So like you can't keep using it. If they decide that there's a new model out, they're discontinuing everything, you just won't be able to use your old phone unless you buy an expensive upgrade. It's a really regressive, weird business practice. It's why they have a lot of money. People buy the brand. They buy it because they want to be cool and trendy, which is like the same as saying, hey, I'm brain dead, look at me. I paid twice as much for this iPad as I could have gotten a tablet that does the same thing and maybe more for half the price, but I'm elite or something like that. It's like the camera function's the only decent reason to have an iPhone at this point. But it's funny. Facebook's the biggest loser. I thought it'd be Twitter. Like, towards the end of the year, they were all competing to see who can be the biggest fucking loser within Silicon Valley. Is it going to be Mark Turd the Zuckerberg? Is it going to be Jack? Is it going to be Patreon? I think as far as losing money, probably they win out. No, as far as, giants coming tumbling down, definitely Facebook. They were already ailing anyway. Like, they were losing users before Twitter was. The problem is the only thing keeping them afloat is selling user data. And the problem being that's what's killing the rest of their business. It might have a drag on Instagram. You do realize, people, Instagram is owned by Zuckerberg, correct? He bought it up several years ago. You do realize that it's going to have the same privacy concerns, right? Like as in harvesting everything you post, all of your pictures are basically theirs. You think that won't get bundled with your latent Facebook data and then sold to China? Of course it will. In 5-6 years from now, we'll be having the same conversation about the same kind of privacy scandals, only it'll be Instagram instead of Facebook. And by then, Zuckerberg probably will have shelved Facebook, turned it into little more than a messaging app, for which it's primarily used now anyway. And then he'll move on to the next big, bright project that can make him money by selling the same infinitely refinable user data. To the point where they're asking people to upload pictures of their IDs. You know what would happen if I log into Facebook in the morning? And I do, because there's still 2-3 people that message me there. It's like, come on, get Twitter, get anything. Please use please use snail mail or something at this point, please. I log in. If it were to say, oh, well, we're not confident that you are who you say you are because reasons. Upload a picture of your driver's license. No, yeah, bye. No thanks. Delete my account. It's basically what I do. I try to log in over and over to convince their system I'm being hacked, and then they would just suspend the account or something. Bye. That's all you need to do. Fuck Facebook. It's not even fun anymore. I can remember 10 years ago when Facebook was a fun place to be. They had werewolves versus vampires and stuff, and bumper stickers and all this cool stuff. They switched to Timeline, moved all the fun stuff to the back burner, and made it more about, hey, basically ego feeding. And they thought that would make them money. But then they realized, oh, we have all this user data that we store forever. We can just sell that. It doesn't matter if we can make ends meet on ads. And so it's become a big concern. Now, part of this, the biggest part is privacy, is the reason why they're spiraling down the toilet. Privacy concerns, every time you have a new revelation about the misuse of data, the improper storage of data, what kind of data is being stored, which is far more expansive than anyone imagined, including the most pessimistic conspiracy theorists, so-called among us. Every time that happens, their stock loses a little bit of value. By the way, I seem to recall 10 years ago when people predicted exactly this kind of thing eventually happening, where government-sponsored attacks on privacy would take place in Facebook and other big tech firms. I remember being poo-pooed at the time for suggesting that could be an issue down the road. And there were other people that were convinced of it. I'm like, well, I'm not convinced necessarily, but it's certainly a possibility. And people thought that was a conspiracy theory. Well, look who's fucking eating their words now. Meanwhile, Mark Zuckerberg has to freeze trading on Facebook stock because it starts to tank so badly. Yeah, with no end in sight for the loss for him. You really think that his company can claw its way back? I'm thinking the answer is probably no. I'm thinking that Facebook's day has come and gone, and that it really had its heyday 2 or 3 years ago, and now it's sort of on life support. And again, it's solvent. It's not that Zuckerberg's losing money, and so long as he has that data, he can keep Facebook going as long as he wants. Because even if it's smaller and smaller numbers of people interacting with things there, they're still giving him more user data, and he can sell it over and over. There comes some point at which you're past breaking even. But then he's got Instagram. which is quickly displacing Facebook anyway. And it's actually continuing to gain value. Again, I think that it's crazy to put anything particularly personal there. Yeah, it's going to get sold to China. It's going to be the same as Facebook anyway. Other tech news being Twitter's still going down. Apple's still collapsing. Microsoft, I believe, is down. The only one being sheltered really is Google. They're so diverse. They played their cards right, diversified so heavily that even if entire tech markets collapse completely, Google's still there. But Facebook might not. People get tired of the ego-serving, posting of private bullshit and saying, oh, tonight I had anchovies and Brussels sprouts and stuff. It gets boring after a while. No, they'd rather post about that on Twitter. They'd rather post about it on Instagram, which is the funniest thing ever. That's about all. Peace out.